morning. Welcome. Come in. Come in and get a seat. Thank you for coming. It's good to see everyone this morning. Thank you. Thank you. Come in. Thanks for coming. We are continuing our study on a subject called Life with a capital L. We've been visiting about this for the past several weeks, and we're going to continue that this morning. It's good to see everyone here. I see Darlene is here today. I'm glad that she's here. Anyway, I don't. Seems like we're more on this side than that side. I don't know. Yeah, the auditorium seems to be leaning this way. Let's start with a word of prayer. Father, thank you for today, for this time to be together. We thank you for the ones that are here today, for this congregation of your family that meets here. We thank you for the time to study from your word. We ask, Father, that you be with us as we do that this morning, that we might speak your words and that we would understand the things that you would have us to understand. We thank you, Father, for the life that you offer us through your Son, and that we can have an abundant life. We're so very thankful for that. Help us to realize that as we go through this study. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, so the lesson that we've been talking about, the life with a capital L, really is based on that verse that's on the screen, that Jesus came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. And this book that I based this series on is Life with a capital L. And it is talking about embracing your God-given humanity and looking at it from a little bit different perspective than maybe you have in the past. I don't know. I taught this class, again, I said that some years ago, and I didn't have to prepare slides for it back then. I was in the family center and upstairs. But so Darlene hadn't seen the slides. She said she's taken this class a couple of times, or once, and but we have slides to go with it this time. I wanted to invite anyone in this class, if they have something that they would like to discuss with me or to bring up with me, if they're not willing to speak out in this class. If you would ever have something that you would like to discuss with me in private or not, just sometime outside of an auditorium setting, you can, I wish you would, and I wish you would come by and see me, or just talk to me on the phone, whatever you feel comfortable with. I have, I'm here most days in the office. I have an office here, so if you ever want to discuss something with me, I wish you would. And there you go. I think you may have to advance that slide, Heather. So there's a couple of phone numbers. Neither one of those are mine, but if you call those numbers, maybe they'll know me and can give you my phone number. So we were talking about, the lessons leading up to this one were not from that book. They were from the Bible. They were from a different book, a different couple of books. And Life with a capital L, as to set the stage for that, or to maybe calibrate everyone, I wanted to remind us of how great God is and how awesome He is and what He's done as relates to this planet and relates to the universe and the things that He's set in motion. And the fact that he knows us, he knows the hair on your head, he knows if a sparrow falls, he knows everything. And he didn't design us to just exist in this world. He designed us to seek him and to learn from his son, to live like his son, and to have a life that's abundant. And to demonstrate that he would do something like that, we've been looking at different things about our world. And you remember last year when the solar eclipse came, how we talked about how amazing that was, that it was so precision. I mean, if you talk about precision machinery or precision things that are done, men in space and that type of thing, how precision that is, this tops that by a lot. And we could predict that, and then it happened, and when it was on the news, it was as if, science had created it, or look what man has done, and no reference was given to God. And it was, that day that it happened, and I watched the awe and the amazement of that, and I thought how wonderful and how awesome is our God to do something like that. And nobody was giving him credit. It was kind of sad, actually. And then last week or week before, we had a lunar eclipse, and the fact that the moon came between, or the earth came between the moon and the sun, and created a lunar eclipse was another phenomenon that happened and was not given credit to God. I talked about this series, The Americas, and I've been watching that some. It comes on at 6 o'clock, and sometimes Brian is preaching so long he can't get there to. No, I'm joking. That's a joke. He did. But I haven't been. But I have it recorded. I've been watching it some, and it's amazing how much that the cameras and the effects of that and what they've done to capture all of that, and it's amazing to think about God's creation. And again, it's as if that that it's all evolved into this, and it's amazing that people don't give credit to God. I saw one last week about some rattlesnakes and how that they depended on the rain to create a way to get out of what their cave or whatever they're in, and it made me think about those verses in the Sermon on the Mount. Consider the birds of the air and the lilies of the field. They don't worry about things like that, and God takes care of them. He's going to take care of us, and I think we sometimes forget that. I was also, if you look up things on the internet, they send you things. So, and I've been looking up things about the earth and about the planet, trying to figure out how did all this come about. I'm joking. I know how it all came about. God created it, and he put things in motion, and he's a wonderful God. But I said last week, I said that the earth was revolving around the sun, and I thought, I don't even know if that's right, but it says here that the discovery that the earth revolves around the sun was revolutionary. It fundamentally changed how we viewed the cosmos as well as ourselves. But the earth does not revolve around the sun, at least not exactly. And then it says, time to get pandemic. I can't even say it. Time to get precise or boring, I think is what it means. Technically, what is going on is that the earth, sun, and all the planets are orbiting the center of a mass of the solar system, writes Kathy Jordan, a Cornell University Ask an Astronomer contributor. The center of mass of our solar system, very close to the sun itself, but not exactly at the sun's center. Every single object in the solar system, from the gargantuan sun to the tiniest speck, exerts a gravitational pull on everything else. The solar system is basically a massive game of tug of war, and all the yanking balances out at a specific point. The center of mass, or Berry Center, I thought the Berry Center was over on Barker Cypress, but here it is. The center of mass, or Berry Center, everything in the solar system orbits around that point. Sometimes it's almost smack dab in the sun's center. Right now, the Berry Center is just outside the sun's surface, but it's constantly changing depending upon where the planets are in their orbital paths. And as it turns out, all of that was just came about after a big bang, and now everything's in place that makes it revolve around this. It's just amazing. And there's a verse in Romans that I don't know. I think we're hung up again, Heather. Maybe I waited too long. In Romans chapter 1 and verse 20, how that man can't not believe, has to believe in God by seeing all the evidence that's all around him. So, well, this is, I have well, I don't, it may be, but the one thing is that we've got a video this morning, and we haven't had one, and bless you. And so we'll see. Hopefully this will be working by the worship service. Anyway, so last week there was a blank I left out, and I know no one pointed it out to me, but one person did, and I'm sure everyone, maybe some noticed it. There was a blank that I left out in the handout. Many have religion but do not have abundant life was the blank. And it's kind of ironic or interesting that was the blank that I left out in the sentence that I left out of that presentation, because that's what this whole discussion is about. So this is not going to be good. That is a reference, sir, we wish to see Jesus, a slide that talks about John chapter 12, and when the Greeks came and asked Philip and Andrew, Philip, he went to get Andrew, I want to see Jesus. And then how it goes on in that chapter to talk about how that, okay, anyway, so then, well, all right, let's do this slide. Then, hey, this is going to be good. So then, how about last week we talked about this, that some things you learn when you're young are simple, and then when you grow up you complex them. But then you look back and you realize they were simple, and you marvel at how simple they are. And I asked for examples, and there was one about a person that teaches golf, and he teaches little kids how to golf, and they do it naturally. Just hit the ball. Here's the grip, hit the ball. And then, the pros and everyone else complexes that to try to improve on it, and the simple thing is just hit the ball. So I've given you a week to think about this, and maybe, last week we went over this. I had a couple that came to my mind after this, after last week, and so I thought I would talk about them, especially since the slides don't work this morning. I got plenty of time to talk about different things. That song that we sang when we're little, the wise man built his house upon the rock, and then the foolish man built his house on the sand. That's a simple song, but that's such a powerful message that's in that. Well, look, here's another slide. There's such a simple message. Such a simple song, but such a strong message. It's the way he ends the Sermon on the Mount. A wise man built his house upon the rock, and that's one that listen to my words and do them. They will have a foundation that will stand the storms of life. And the wise man that builds his house on the sand, he hears the words, but he doesn't do them, and it causes destruction. Another one that came to mind was, I've got the joy, joy, joy down in my heart. Now, we're not going to sing that, but you know that song, I got the joy, 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 where down in my heart. And that is such a simple message, and kids learn that song, but it's such a powerful message to have the joy that's down in your heart. There was a story. Are you doing that? Okay, go back one more. That's forward. That's back. Okay. Hold it right there for just a minute. So I heard this story about a guy that was in Brazil. I lived in Brazil for a while, and there was a guy that they say sitting out under a shade tree by the beach, and he was just taking it easy. And a guy came out to him, salesman type with his jacket. Come, hey man, get up, do something with your life. Make it. Well, like what? Well, I don't know. Go out and get an education, do this and do this work, and okay. And then what? Well, and then you can come back and you can have all this money, and then you can buy it. And then what? Well, then you can come out here on the beach and sit. He goes, that's what I'm doing right now, sitting on. Now, I don't know, that may be a bad lesson to teach, but one thing that sometimes whenever we are hustle and bustle and just what are we doing, we need to stop. This life with a capital L is saying to stop and smell the roses and to recognize what God has created and what God has done for us. With this life with a capital L. All right, go one more. This is a painting that is it talked about in this book, and we're going to listen to it. Does anybody have anything simple thing that they think about that they want to bring up, maybe that you've thought about since last week? Here's a simple thing, slides that work on that. You'd think that would be simple, but okay, so let's, Heather, if you can, run the video. Maybe it was me. I can't see him. There's a spotlight. He was probably going, "It's you." I can't. But anyway, when I first heard that, when I first read this book, it was, it struck me as well that there is life everywhere, and maybe I wasn't taking advantage of that. So that's. Does everybody have a handout that they? This. I hope this clicker works as Sunday. This is. What's that? Yeah, I ruined the picture. Yeah. Anyway, that's right. Go one more. So, one there. That painting that we were looking at that's on the top of your handout actually, and was the one that he encountered when he was in Moscow, was printed or painted by Nikolai Urashenko, and it says, "Can we turn down the volume of our circumstances and listen? We will embrace that life. There is life everywhere." That's the question that he asked in that painting, and one that we ask ourselves. Okay. Go one more. So then the book was written 3 years earlier by Leo Tolstoy, and that was based on 1 John 3 and 14. And it says we know that we have passed from death to life in 1 John 3 and verse 14. So we pass from death to life in all right, so we know that we pass from death to life. And it says in 1 John 3 and verse 14, it goes on to say that if we love one another, for he who is without love has no life. And we're going to talk about that some more as we get into this study. But one thing that was pointed out in verse 14 was that we have passed from death to life while we're alive. And I know we've said that before. Let's go on with so similar to that verse in John chapter 5 and verse 24, where it says, I tell you the truth, whoever hears my words and believes him who sent me has eternal life and will not be condemned. He has crossed over from death to life. Go ahead, the next slide, and go down, keep going down. There you go. All right. So then life is that blank. Life, what we talked about, what it talks about in this life with a capital L. What is life? People define it many ways. Is it merely our cells that are reproducing? Is it our hearts that are beating? We know there is more to being fully human, and we all have our ideas of what more should include. So go ahead, next one. Some fulfilling relationships. That's fine. Go ahead, all the way down. It's fine. So here's some things that we feel like are more. We know there's more to life than just our hearts beating or our cells reproducing. There's some like fulfilling relationships, an enjoyable family, particular bank account balance, a gratifying career, the accumulation of enough stuff, health and fitness, absence of disease, exciting vacations, exciting vacations. So one more. Okay. Now, yeah. So is that what life is? Is that it? A cycle of well-crafted circumstances? Then deep down we know there's more to the dance and drama of life on this planet than air in our lungs and even circumstances to our liking. I know, that list before, like an enjoyable, some fulfilling relationships, an enjoyable life. You want to back up one slide and let's look at those. Yeah. So enjoyable relationship, a particular bank account balance, a gratifying accumulations. Sometimes you might think that if you have all of that, you would have a good life. And some think that if they're without certain ones of those, like a particular bank account balance. If I just had that, I've got a good family, a good relationship. I got health and fitness. I have some real exciting vacations. If I just had that, but really a well-crafted set of circumstances, there's still more. There's still more to life. That's what we're going to be looking at throughout this study. We're going to be looking at how there is much more to life, and what God, who designed an earth that that rotates around the sun, and the things that we've looked at before, some of the things in the Americas, and that how intricate a design He gave us. He would not leave us to just try to make it. He gave us a book. He gave us His Son. He gave us the things that if we were to engage with it, then we would have a life that is much more abundant. And we're going to talk about that in this study. Okay, go ahead. One more. Let's see. Fill it all the way down. Be fine. There. Okay. So life can be found everywhere, even in a rail car. That was on those people in the rail car were a soldier, a worker, a peasant, a mother, and a child. And then the life that Yerushenko can be found everywhere. What he's talking about is a life in which Jesus invites us today. All right, let's go to the next slide. There is a sixth prisoner, and he's missing out. When I first saw this and read it, I didn't notice the sixth prisoner, but there is one, and he's missing out on what's unfolding behind him. How many times have we moved to the other side of the rail car and missed out because of pain or disappointment or even the busyness of life? I'll stop there. Okay, Lynn. Right.
We don't get around them because they don't, maybe I'm missing a tooth. Maybe I'm missing a tooth and now no one wants to be, I don't want to be around anybody.
Right.
Because, that's not me, but people come up with reasons why they're going to be on the other side of the car.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's the reality of our lives.
Yeah, that's good.
You have to step outside of that and realize all these things don't matter.
Yeah, that's
But it's hard to do that when you're in the midst of that depression. You're in the midst
right. Right.
So it needs us to come into those people's lives and say, hey, let's help you experience something different.
That's good, Lynn. That's good. That was a long explanation, but that's right. I mean, sometimes whenever we feel pain or disappointment, we kind of want to shelter in place, go home, not let anybody come in. There's something that may be keeping us from being out and about with people, and there are things that we can help people like that to come out and be out and with people and enjoy the things that in life. I've said before many times that it's such a true blessing to go visit people, and they I'm sure appreciate the visit, but it just means so much more for you. You are the one that gets blessed, and people, if they would realize that being out and sometimes, like the guy that's looking out the other window, he's pain or disappointment or just plain busyness can keep us from noticing the life that is around us. Any other comments? Any questions? Any disputes on what's been said so far? Remember, if you call those numbers, they may know who I am and they can get in touch with me. Let's go to that next slide. Brian I came and got that because I kept running down the batteries. He's going, Wes, quit doing that. I don't need that. Okay, so how often do we look in the opposite direction? Sometimes we become imprisoned by busyness. Life with a capital L doesn't mean being more spiritual. Life with a capital L means to becoming more human under God's direction. So that's what we're going to look at. In this book, it talks about being human, understanding our humanness, understanding how God has created us, and how to enjoy that. We'll get into some of the other lessons that it points that out. So let's go to the next slide, please. And there, one more. Just fill the whole slide. One more. There you go. So then, the ultimate question, not whether there's life is everywhere, but whether we are going to experience it ourselves. And then that poem by a poet that I wrote down, but I don't see it. No, here it is. A guy named Robert Abraham said he wrote, some men die by shrapnel and some go down in flames, but most die inch by inch, play at little games. So that's all the slides. I got a question, but before I get to that, I think, that's a poem that I think what we've been trying to talk about is life with a capital L. Is not going down inch by inch and playing little games. The time that you spend with the Bible, with the Word, with God, and in study and listening to Him through His Word and talking to Him in prayer, if that's not a daily routine for you, you're missing out. That is such an important part of how He designed us to be. This book is not like a book, any other book that you read and then you know it. This book is powerful even every time you read it. Sometimes when I'm reading this Bible and I'm kind of sorry that I have to stop. Wish that I had more time, and you can make time, and that's the way He has designed us. We're going to look at a lot of that in the few weeks that come. So, are there any comments, any questions, anything that? All right, let's go to the next question. Maybe this will. Oh wait, Sylvia has a question.
I don't think you can experience life by yourself. You have to intermingle with other people.
Okay.
And I think by helping people, makes your life much better.
That's good. So she said, I don't think you can experience life alone. You experience with other people, and then experience it with other people helps you engage in life. Yes, Jerry? Yes.
It blesses you.
Right.
Sometimes more than the person
You
see. And I can think of two really good examples.
okay?
You
Uh-huh.
and David Bounds.
Okay.
Visit a lot in hospitals.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Very positive.
thank you, Jerry.
I used to do that.
How much? What did we talk about? Was that $5? Was that what? No. So he said he had two examples of that. So David, our secret's out. Now they know that it blesses us to go visit people. Thank you, Jerry, for that. But it does. It is a blessing. Interesting. My granddaughter Megan plays in an orchestra, and she had a UIL contest last week, and her uncle, my son, showed up for it. And all he had to do was show up. He didn't have to say anything. He didn't have to do anything. Just show up. And it meant the world to her. I mean, sometimes just showing up is special. All right, so anyone else? I mean, I know Sylvia was back there like this. So if you have anything. Okay, there's a question. We got 5 minutes, and I'm going to go around the room and let everybody answer this question. So as you think back on the way you conducted your life last week, so not going too far back, for some of us, it's going to be difficult for me, but what might you have missed as a result? What have you been doing, the activities of life and not really living? How have you been doing the activities of life and not really living? Darlene?
I can answer that.
I was waiting.
The week before, my friends came. I have two friends here.
Yes,
We all call them California friends.
yes,
We all live in different places right now.
yeah,
But anyhow, the week before Monday, through Saturday,
uh-huh,
I was just kind of sitting around. I really didn't want to go anywhere. I enjoyed myself at the house with my David.
yeah,
And it was just fine. But this week when they came on Tuesday. Well, Wednesday, we all took off for San Antonio.
yeah,
And we knew we wanted to go to certain places, but we weren't sure. So we started out and we rode the hop-on, hop-off bus. And we didn't get off at all. And it was raining, so that kind of ruined it for us in a way. But we still was able to see. So then we went to the Alamo. And before my friend Georgia died, her and I always talked about some of the stuff that we did. And Melissa here, she didn't really understand how how it was, should I say so much fun how it was? She didn't quite understand.
Well, when I saw her and Diana, when they were bantering back and forth, and I remember that she and Georgia used to do the
I
same
see.
thing. So it made it a really fun and enriching time.
Okay, so that was an example of actually realizing life as you were living it versus,
We didn't exactly know where we were going sometimes, and so we were,
yeah,
making U-turns. And then another thing is when we went to the Natural Bridge Cavern.
yes,
Okay, I'm not getting around very well right now, and the rain does not help me. So before I even went in, I asked God, please don't let me fall. And then I also said, because you go way, way down, and then you have to come way, way up. And so you're walking on stairs and stuff. So I asked the Lord, please let me finish.
okay.
Now, when I finished, I was huffing and puffing. I did make it, and I was holding on to each rail on each side.
Oh, good, yeah. So you thanked him for that?
Oh, I definitely.
Yeah, okay, good, yeah, so
So that week, this last week,
yes.
I was living.
So the week before her friends got here, Melissa and Diana, before they got here, she was home with David. It was kind of boring, and then her friends got here. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry, but what I meant was that she started living life with her friends, and she went on the caverns and prayed that she wouldn't fall, and he answered that prayer. And Melissa noticed that Darlene was kind of bantering back with Diana, and that reminded her of Georgia. And sometimes those memories, you may even think that you remember and maybe regret that, we really did enjoy one another. As Troy?
This past week, I watched too much basketball.
He said he watched too much basketball. I don't think that's possible, but yeah, you maybe watched too much basketball and didn't enjoy life. What about whenever sometimes I'll be driving in traffic, and it's such a, so many, the Houston drivers are so nice and courteous, and then you come to a stoplight and you look up in the heavens and you see the clouds, or you see the different things that God has created, and it's like, what? Why are you so anxious about? And he does that every day. Every day. He doesn't get tired of painting a picture for us. Did you have something else, Troy? Kelly says no, he doesn't. Yeah.